Alright, so I did a bit more research. As you can see, I have a lot more information to cover. So, yeah. So this time I've been focusing less on how many mushrooms are in each farm and more on how fast it takes each farm to grow. Okay? So, here I have tested 3, 4-ish, 5-ish different types of farms and just testing like how long it takes them to grow um, mushrooms, basically. So I have actually gotten far more set up, so it's much easier to test the farms now. So like, which one am I missing? There we go. So what I can do is, as you can see, we have some mushrooms here. Currently there's none. So what we can do is we come over here, and then we actually we have some mushrooms on here. I can't remember if this is already like that or if oops, that's not good. So I'm just gonna harvest this, and as you can see, it drops all the mushrooms on the ground. Then I push this button, clear shrooms, and 1382 mushrooms. So that was this one, which means that, wait, no. Oh, right, so that's actually didn't mean to be there, so I was testing out some of that farm up there, and so it actually caused these to grow weird amounts. Hopefully, how many mushrooms is that? So, wow, it's actually a lot of mushrooms. So hopefully these should, unfortunately it seems like the base farms grew a little bit. So I'm copying them from up in the sky or from right here. So I'm actually gonna have to make all of these back in, like just take out all of the grown mushrooms just to show you guys how I've been doing this. And then I'll just cut to when I have all the mushrooms gone, so as if they had just started growing. Okay, so while I was clearing out all of these mushrooms, I realized something that I had completely messed up on. So here, I'd been figuring out how long it would take each type of farm to grow mushrooms. So what we have here is how much mushrooms each one started with. So the bottom layer, there's 4 blocks in between 2 rows. This starts with 432 planted mushrooms, and then the middle one starts with 576, and then the top one is 277. And then this one is, it's similar to Sweet Booty's design, where I made this, but I just took out every other one of these to make it so more like Sweet Booty's that he made on his island, and see if that grew faster, and it did, surprisingly. But I only tried that for 1 hour instead of the full 3 as I did the other ones. And it grew about 191 mushrooms in about 1 hour. So, however, something I just realized is that all of these numbers are wrong. So, the way I did the testing process was I had all the farms completely harvested, or and then what I would do is I did something like this. Push the button. So now it sets the random tick speed to 360. Now the normal value of the random tick speed is 3, and the random tick speed decides how fast things grow. So essentially, oh, that's not good. I forgot to swap out this command. I just did it manually the entire time with like a stopwatch on my phone, and I decided to make this for the video just to see if that would be easier. So hopefully this will work now. There. Alright, so now this shows how much time, how many mushrooms each layer has grown in 1 hour. And then since I'm close enough to have these farms loaded too, then those will also grow the same amount. So what I can do is now I can just harvest it, breaks all the pods whole but leaves the mushrooms intact. Then I just come over here, click this, clear the shrooms, Boom, we got 522. And then that was actually pretty lucky growth time. Oh, because it took longer to turn off, I remember now. So, yeah. And then we push a button and it comes back at about the same growth as before. Or, no, this is completely ungrown again, as those are too high up. So, now we reset this, and then we just do that for all of them. And then, but the thing is, 690. Haha, funny number. Yeah, so, the thing is, when I did this, I actually did this incorrectly. So, the default random tick speed is actually 3, not 1. So, when I set it to 360, I was actually setting it to, not, instead of an hour every second, no, sorry, instead of a minute, wait, 6 minutes every second, sorry. I thought it was 6 minutes every second, but in actuality, I was setting it to 1/3 that, so 2 minutes every second. So instead of it being growing that much in 1 hour, it grows that much in 20 minutes. So, every time it says 1 hour, it should actually be 20 minutes, 40 minutes, etc. So, and I just did that for all of these farms except for this one. I just tried it once because I'd have to manually make it every time. So, yeah. So, this farm, the 2 rows, 4 blocks in between, it grows approximately, it grew 3.5% extra shrooms in the first hour, and then up to 17% extra, and then 20% extra, or 21, in 1 hour. So the middle farm is 11%, then 20%, then 30, almost 32% in the 1 hour. Because keep in mind these times are wrong. And then the 4 block in between rows, this one, this grew 10%, 17, and then 36. So yeah, there were really some variation. Yeah. So these two are, as you can see, are actually pretty close. Personally, I would go with this one because, well, it does have very similar amounts extra, with this one being more, and this one being less, and this one being more, and this one being less. This one does have several, like, double the amount of mushrooms than that this one has, as it starts with 277 instead of 576. So yeah. So what I thought at first was, oh, the design that I'd come up with before would be the best farm to use because it also grows the fastest. Mushrooms are just really slow. But I was wrong. One of the people on Sweet Booty's Discord DM'd me talking about different styles of mushrooms, and we talked for a while. And then he actually got me to think about a new type of farm, one that I hadn't even considered before, which was, he said, what if you have the mushrooms go down, like the growing mushrooms go down a block? Like, here, I'll make an example. The picture he sent me was of the farm that I had made, this one, the middle one, but instead of being like this, with the red and brown mushrooms here, and then the rows, he's like, hey, what if you do something like this, with the red and brown mushrooms like this? So all of the mushrooms could go up here. You could harvest both rows at once. And so I thought of, I made a variation to that in this farm, where I made it an entirely flat platform. So that way the mushrooms have more chances to spawn every time. So that way more grow, and it grows a lot faster. And this actually turned out to be the fastest design, where since these are still the incorrect times, in 20 minutes it grew 107 mushrooms, which is how much, which is a little bit less than as much as the middle farm got in about 3 times that time. Give me 1 second. He actually just messaged me. Let me go see what he said. Alright, so sorry about that. That was Risk messaging me on Discord on how to make this farm. He's currently #1 in mushroom collection, so I'm helping him come up with a really good design that he can use as like the best mushroom farmer, so he can keep his rank. These are the numbers for this farm. So in 1 hour, it grows about 107 shrooms, or 20 minutes actually, and that is, yeah, the same amount, or a little bit less than, actually, this is wrong, how much the middle farm made in about 3 times that time. Unfortunately, the maximum capacity of mushrooms for this farm is only 1,294 extra shrooms, that's not counting these mushrooms that are indented into the ground. So, like, if I do this command, where is it? If I do this command, then it tells me how many mushrooms there were. There were 862 mushrooms grown right there. So let's actually get a timer for 10 seconds, and then we'll just, I'll show you guys how I made it grow 20 minutes at a time. So I would do that, and then 360, and then I start the timer and press enter at the same time. And now I just literally wait for 5 more seconds, and then right as the timer goes off, I press enter on this. There we go. So now, this much grew. I fill it all again. 125 mushrooms in 20 minutes. 20 minutes of real life time. Because if you do 360 divided by 3, that is 12. So, wait, is that correct? I hope so. Yeah. No, 120, sorry. So, yeah. Wait. I'm confused. Wait. Okay, so the random tick speed is the random ticks per second. So that's why there's 120 random ticks per second. Wait. I'm confusing myself. So I did the math. There are 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. So I divided that by 10 because I'll be running it for 10 seconds. So if I wanted to run it for 10 seconds, then I would need to do 360 times as fast for 10 seconds. And then I forgot that the base number would be 3, so I did 360 as the tick speed, which actually is, so it would actually be 120 times as fast instead of 360 times as fast. So that means it's only 20 minutes instead of 1 hour. But that, in 20 minutes, it got 125 mushrooms. And this is a very easy farm to use. It's just like all of the carrot and potato farms that Sweet has demonstrated on his channel time and time again. I'm just going to speed this up as much as possible for a minute, just so they can grow really quick. This is about hours per second, but I think that it hits a cap at a certain point, because there's just only so much growing the game can do at once. And so it's just a decent bit grown. I'll just set it to this for now, and it's just really simple, like all of the other farms. You just go like this. It'll work better on Hypixel because creative mode doesn't interact with instant break blocks the same way that survival does. So, or at least it doesn't for while you're flying and on single player. Hypixel, it'll all work just fine. So yeah. This is the farm. I'll show you guys how to make it. So this is what the old farm used to be. It would be, there would be every 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. And then on the 5th block, there would be 2 mushrooms here. And then in between each row, there would be 2 blocks of air. So the only thing you need to do to change this old farm into the new one is to fill in this hole in the middle like this. And then you just drop these mushrooms down once, then you don't break them when you are going through like this. Alright, it's super simple. So that means each row is 4 blocks wide, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks of podzol in between each set of mushrooms. So yeah, really simple, and now it's even easier to make what the builders want. So what you can do is you can make it like just, also, something I forgot to mention. I'll mention that later. So 4 blocks wide, and then you just take the builder and go all the way down, and then boom, you're done. Well, you'll need to go in and then take this out, put down the mushrooms. So that is one problem with this farm. It does require an extra block of space per layer. So that means the layer above this would have to go here, so that way the mushrooms can go. I don't know why that went like that, but okay. So that way you can still go without breaking the podzol for the layer above, but it's 50% more space, but 3 times the speed, so I figured it was worth it. So as of now, this is the farm I would recommend building on your island. I'm likely going to be doing more testing and possibly refining or changing the design over the next while I work with Risk more underscore Risk. Huge shout out to him. I would not have thought of this without him, or her or them. I don't know their pronouns actually, but thank you to Risk. And then yeah, if you have any ideas or want to talk with me more about shrooms, apparently that's what I'm going to be known for now. I know way too much about shrooms. Just DM me on Discord or on game or something. So yeah, happy farming. Alright, so I'm currently in the process of editing the video that I just recorded, and I just thought I'd bring up a few things that I'm pretty sure I forgot to mention in the video. So yes, I still stand by that this farm is the most compact mushroom farm. You can fit the most mushrooms in the smallest amount of space. However, the reason I now call this the best mushroom farm is because while this does have the most mushrooms in the smallest space, it takes an incredibly long amount of time for the mushrooms to actually grow. So therefore, this mushroom farm is a better choice when you are trying to farm it repeatedly. So if you stack, like, say, a bunch of these on top of each other, you would end up getting more mushrooms than if you stacked a bunch of those, aside from the very first harvest if it was fully grown. So yes, I'm saying that this is the best mushroom farm if you are going for repeated harvests. However, if you were just doing one harvest, then this farm over here is the best with the stacked layers. These layers can be every 2 blocks, so podzol and then podzol, mushroom, whereas the other one has to be podzol, air, mushroom, air, podzol. But again, for the speed, it's just far better. So, if there's anything else I forgot to mention, I'll record it after this.